Hello everyone, we're standing here today at the World Hydrogen Summit organized by Sustainable Energy Council. My name is Johann Wiebe from the Hydrogen Standard, and with me here today stands Justinn General from Lamons. Justin, did I say that correctly?
You said that correct.
Fantastic. Great for you to be here. Thank you very much. Tell us, Lamons and yourself. So what does the business do and what is your role in it?
So Lamons been around since 1947. So we've been in the industry for 75 years, selling primarily gaskets, hoses, and bolting. We've kind of grown and founded in Texas, where a lot of the oil and gas and the traditional industries are. And then we've kind of expanded globally. So we have about 21 global locations all around the world, and a lot of which is to service our big customers, our end users, such as like Exxon, Chevron, and BP. So to mention, we've been primarily in the refinery space, selling all these different types of gaskets. And there's a lot of, let's say, engineering work into finding different solutions for their very unique situations of their different processes they may have, whether it be temperature, whether it be hydrogen in this situation, and then it all requires different applications and designs to handle these type of industries. Sir.
Talking about those different applications and designs, what is your bread and butter?
So our bread and butter and what the company has been founded upon is gaskets and various types of sealing solutions. So you want to think of it as any pipeline, there's always going to be some connection between it. And that one thing in the middle is the gasket, right? And that's our more or less bread and butter of what we sell, and that's been kind of our tried and true gaskets and things that we've been selling throughout the industry.
If I might hook into that, exciting times now, of course, with moving into hydrogen, and hydrogen also a difficult gas to contain, so it becomes very important, not only for it not to prevent it leaking through the steel structure of the pipe itself, but particularly of those sort of like connections that you were talking about, the solutions that you offer there. Can you tell us a little bit sort of the difference between the traditional oil and gas business and now sort of the hydrogen gas? Sure, it's a gas, but it's a different sort of gas. How do you guys are dealing with that?
Yeah, so the interesting about hydrogen, has a lot of similarities to the traditional oil and gas world, right? You could imagine that methane, which is very common gas that they would pipe and use in a lot of these different applications. And methane has its own, leak rates and things like that. But the thing that we want to really pick up on is that hydrogen is the smallest element that's out there. Sure. And it being the smallest element, it has the propensity to find a way to leak. Sure. So we're talking orders of magnitude in terms of its leakage potential, if you will. And so in order to be able to design a gasket that could really stop any hydrogen leak and be able to give the customer that level of safety and security, knowing that their process doesn't have any of those faults or anything like that, we had to come up with a new design of a gasket that we've tested, where we took traditional, let's say, unique bespoke materials, and then we designed it with a very unique mechanical design, and then incorporating that with a thermoplastic, which we've worked with a company that has a lot of the, let's say, data behind hydrogen permeability, and it's been kind of identified as one of the best sealing elements for specifically hydrogen. And basically what we did is we combined those two features together to create this gasket that's specifically designed for the hydrogen space.
So having a good sealant doesn't only save you money, right, with less hydrogen seeping through, but at the same time it's also safe, right? So safety is very important, front and center of the industry. What can you say to that?
So when it comes to safety, what we've came up with is we've used a design that has a high level of recovery. And you want to think of recovery as like a spring. So in any bolted joint connection, there's going to be basically upsets in pressure, there could be upsets in temperature, and all these things kind of move around that connection. And so when you design this gasket, you want to make sure it has like this spring effect, this recovery effect, where if there were to be any of these kind of upsets, pressure, temperature, things like that, this gasket would be able to compensate for that and still maintain that high level of sealability.
Probably it might be in it there already, but tell us a little bit about sort of the new product, or the product line or new product brand that you guys are working on.
So not only we wanted to address the sealability aspect of hydrogen, but we also want to really take a look at what else can we offer our customers, and that's also then leak detection. So just to announce to everyone here that we've recently partnered with a company called H2Scan, and they're one of the leading experts of hydrogen detection and hydrogen sensing. And so we're working with them to create this prototype and soon to be full-on product where we're going to incorporate our gasket, our core lock gasket, with leak detection. So they'll be able to say within a process or within a facility, let's say, for example, there is a bolted joint connection 2513, right? Random number, but they could start monitoring it and then see if there were to be any, let's say, leakage. So they would say a ppm increase over time. And that gives the end users this possibility of like, what do I do with this? What do I see as in terms of increase? Do I need to react? How do I react? And is this something where it's actionable? So it gives the end users and the operators that level of control and, like, I would say, accuracy of where this leak could potentially be in the flange, and then they'll address it as such.
Very important, of course. First, you don't want it to leak at all, but if it already does, then you want to detect where that takes place. I guess so that this partnership already describes a little bit sort of the future aspirations that you guys are working on, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on sort of like the future aspect of the business and where you guys are envisioning that going forward.
So a lot of what we want to do, and we feel like when it comes to hydrogen, this is one part of the energy transition. Obviously, we're a fastener, gasket, and hose manufacturer, so there's a lot of, let's say, core competencies that we could already give to the market and be available to support the hydrogen industry. But we also want to see how we could partner with, let's say, OEMs in terms of very specific, let's say, manufactured design parts, engineered design parts. That's something where we are looking to start these closer relationships. So companies like Siemens, Mitsubishi, and GE, we're starting to work a lot of those relationships and kind of working on them with their OEM internal spec parts. So
exciting times. Justinn from Lamons, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.